the move, hoping for independence from travel troubles. College without affirmative action.
Discrimination still exists in America.
School massacre deputy acquitted.
The only person to blame was that monster.
Good morning. I'm Steve Kathan with the CBS World News Roundup. After days of storms, flight cancellations, and travel turmoil, CBS's Chris Van Clee reports tens of millions are heading out for July 4th celebrations. A potentially record rush out of town if the weather cooperates after 5 days of travel troubles. Denise Morales is leaving Phoenix for a European vacation.
I am excited. I've been waiting a long time to go on this trip, so it's exciting that 4 years later it's finally happening.
AAA expects 43.2 million will drive, up 2.4% from last year. An increase helped by gas prices that are more than $1.30 lower on average than this time last year.
We're saving it. Yeah, happy to save as much money as we can anytime.
The number of people flying for the 4th is expected to surge 11% over 2022. Despite the week's paralyzing weather disruptions, airlines have canceled about 40% fewer flights than at this point last summer. The delays are up. It's expected the U.S. Supreme Court will rule today on President Biden's student loan forgiveness program. Braxton Brewington is with an advocacy group that's fought to get student debt canceled.
People forget that student debt was such a huge crisis in 2019 and before, a million people defaulted on their student loans every single year. And so returning to that type of quote-unquote normalcy is actually pretty disastrous.
Yesterday, the court delivered a blow to affirmative action, ending its use in college admissions. Education Secretary Miguel Cardona on CBS Morning.
It's unfortunate. I think what we need to do is collectively reflect on the benefit of having a diverse student body, one that reflects the diversity in our country. At the Department of Education, we're taking this very seriously. We're going to focus on, within 45 days, providing guidance to college presidents, saying what the Supreme Court decision says and what it doesn't say.
Under arrest in Washington, a man wanted for involvement in the Capitol attack who had a van full of weapons near the D.C. home of former President Obama. 37-year-old Taylor Taranto was captured after a chase. He's also accused of making threats against a public official on social media. A.T. Smith is a former Secret Service deputy director.
Anytime you have an individual who has apparently the materials to make Molotov cocktails or explosive devices and firearms, and he's in close proximity to a former president and a protector of the Secret Service.
To Florida, CBS's Manuel Bojorquez says a jury has acquitted a former sheriff's deputy who was accused of failing to act to stop the Parkland school gunman in 2018.
Former Florida Sheriff's Deputy Scott Peterson broke down in tears, shaking with emotion, after he was found not guilty of felony child neglect, culpable negligence, and perjury.
We've got our life back after 4.5 years.
Victims' parents were disappointed with the verdict.
I think the evidence is clear. We saw him run away from the threat rather than towards the threat.
Peterson was the only armed school resource officer on duty. Prosecutors said he ignored his training to confront the gunman. Instead, he remained outside the building for more than 40 minutes. Peterson's attorney argued he could not tell where the shots were coming from.
A performer won't face criminal charges in connection with a Houston concert surge 2 years ago that left 10 dead.
A Houston grand jury declined to indict the local rap star. Travis Scott's attorney called the decision a great relief, adding that Scott never encouraged people to do anything that resulted in other people being hurt. Mohit Bellani attended the concert with his cousin Bardi Shahani, who was killed. Bellani blames concert organizer Live Nation for negligence.
This was 100% avoidable. This was an act of pure brutality.
Scott and Live Nation have faced over 100 civil lawsuits. Chris Fox for CBS News, Austin.
4 minutes after the hour.
Well, that's today's news. I didn't hear any good news, did you? I didn't think so. I guess it's all about perspective. The glass is half full. Well, as always, I want to thank you again for coming along with me on these Dash Cam News adventures. You know the drill. Peace, love, and all that hippie jazz. Bye-bye, everybody.